Browns and Panthers at FirstEnergy Stadium on Sunday, Mary Kay, a 1 o'clock kickoff. The Panthers, who are at 1.6-2 this season, have lost 4 games in a row. They are now 6-6, barely clinging to their playoff hopes. And the thing the Browns have to stop, first and foremost, is Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, and you know what? Cam Newton has not practiced on a full basis all week. He's been limited all week with a right shoulder injury. Did that contribute to his 4 interceptions last week? It may have. They even take him out at the end of games sometimes when they need to throw a Hail Mary. So he's struggling in that way, but he said he is going to play. He still has a rating in the 90s. He's still Cam Newton, still incredibly difficult to bring down. And when Greg Williams needed to make a point to his team to let them know what they were facing in Cam Newton, he used the chiseled Myles Garrett as his example. So that's what they have to deal with there. And then Christian McCaffrey, you've got some of the numbers there, Dan. I mean, he is just lighting it up in the run and in the pass this year.
Yeah, he's got 1,526 total yards, 863 on the ground, 663 through the air. He's got a shot to hit 1,000 yards in both categories. He is dangerous when he carries the ball, when he runs the ball. This is a guy that, of course, back in college, a lot of people maybe looked at him and they weren't sure how his game would translate to the NFL. It has translated very well.
It really has. And, you know, they are catching the Browns at a time when they've really been struggling against the run. They're 28th against the run, giving up a ton of yards. And these guys are second in rushing at over 140 yards per game. So I think it could, especially in this weather, come down to the running game on both sides of the ball for both teams, actually. So stopping McCaffrey is going to be absolutely huge on Sunday.
And the Panthers really haven't gotten a lot out of their receivers, DJ Moore and Devin Funchess, their 2 leading receivers. And Funchess just 152 yards receiving over the last 5 games. So maybe the Browns will be able to shut down that passing game a little bit there. On the other side of the ball, it's all about Luke Kuechly. You know, we've talked so much about Joe Schobert and how smart he is. And really the guy that you might want to look at who Joe Schobert could turn into is Luke Kuechly, because he's kind of the same way. A guy that really studies the game, knows what the offense is doing, even sometimes when the offense doesn't know what they're doing. And of course, he can play a little bit too.
Yeah, he's a 5-time Pro Bowler, and I'm sure he's somebody that Joe Schobert has tried to pattern his game after somewhat. And like you said, he studies the game. He knows exactly what the offense is doing. And yesterday, when Freddie Kitchens was asked about him, he said, well, if Baker Mayfield forgets a call, Luke Kuechly will be able to make it for him. So that's what they have to deal with there.
And then elsewhere, it's about the pass rush. Now, this isn't a team that has a ton of sacks, but they've got Mario Addison with 8. Julius Peppers still doing his thing. He's got 4 sacks. They'll put him in certain positions. And, of course, Shaq Thompson and K'Wan Short at linebacker. Not the linebacking core that this has been in the past, but some guys that can still make plays.
Absolutely. And definitely this is a game that Baker Mayfield is going to have to come back and prove that those 3 interceptions in the first half of last week's game were a total fluke. They dropped some linebackers on those underneath routes, and they were jumping routes and things like that. So these are things he's really going to have to worry about this game. This team is in disarray defensively. The Panthers are. But an old friend is coming back, too, in Mike Adams. And I put the emphasis there on old. We used to call him Pops when he was here. Now he's, what, 30?
He's in his late 30s. He played for the Browns from 2007 to 2011. I'm going to say he's like 37 or 38. I don't remember off the top of my head.
That's up there for a safety, but we still love you, Pops, and we're looking forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Now, let's make our picks. I'm going to say that the Browns come away with a win, 26-24.
I had a hard time picking this one, and it's because of Christian McCaffrey. I really think that that run game has been crossing up the Browns lately. But still, my first instincts were that the Browns were going to win this game, so I'm going to stick with that, 24-23.
Got to trust your instincts. Go ahead and make your picks in the comments below. And, of course, we'll have the full coverage of the game at cleveland.com/Browns.